What's up, everybody? The Overwatch 2 panel at BlizzConline just concluded, and we learned a ton of exciting new information about Overwatch's sequel. So this video is going to be the first of at least two I'm planning to make currently, where I delve into all the specific details we learned about Overwatch 2 at BlizzCon today. And in this first video, I'll be focusing on the content specifically announced for Overwatch 2, including the new maps they showed off, the more in-depth look we got at Sojourn, including some of her gameplay, the new hero looks for some of the existing heroes, as well as some other important PvP-related changes, which are going to be coming in the sequel. In the video following this, I'll be focusing specifically on everything they talked about regarding PvE and all the different enemy units we're going to end up seeing, as well as the hero talent systems and the way hero missions work. So stay tuned for that if you're interested in seeing what all they had to say about that. But for now, this is Master Ian Gamer, and let's dive into the new content we saw for Overwatch 2. So first up, let's start with the new maps. During the BlizzConline panel today, they showed off two brand new, never before seen maps, which are Rome and New York. Now, Rome is a absolutely beautiful looking map we can see here. It was actually clarified that Rome is in fact a push map, which of course is the new game mode that'll be coming in Overwatch 2. That means so far we know Rome and Toronto, which was one of the maps they showed off last year at BlizzCon 2019, are going to be push maps, and we can assume there's going to be more than just those two. But anyways, we got our first official look at Rome. It looks fantastic. Obviously, they put a ton of effort into the Roman architecture in order to replicate it in a pseudo sci-fi manner, and yeah, this is a pretty awesome location and map, and I'm very excited to get to play this. But the next map, which I was even more hyped to hear them announce, is New York City. That's right, perhaps one of the most highly anticipated locations for an Overwatch map to feature. We are finally getting a map based on New York City, and I am in love with everything we've seen about it so far. I don't believe they specified which exact map type it's going to end up being. We can see what appears to be at least one control point that you end up capturing, so it's possible that it would end up being a 2CP map, or potentially even a control point map, or maybe even some brand new game mode which they haven't even announced yet. We don't have a whole ton of details on it just yet. We basically just got a lot of beautiful images of what this map is going to look like. Specifically, I absolutely love the hover fire truck you see near the one point. I think that just looks really awesome personally. And overall, just like Rome, it's another awesome map which we're going to be seeing in Overwatch 2. Now, in addition to these maps, we also got a closer look at some of the other maps which had previously been talked about that'd be coming with Overwatch 2, which are specifically Gothenburg in India. Now, Gothenburg we only got a few quick glimpses of back at BlizzCon 2019, but today Blizzard went much more in depth with the different locations and spots on Gothenburg. We got some very cool images of what appears to be inside the ironclad forge or foundry or whatever exactly this sort of building is, including Torbjorn's workshop, which is a very cool little story tidbit for him. And overall, we just got some awesome new images of this map specifically. Now, in addition to this, we also got a look at a map which so far is just being referred to as India, and this definitely seems to be based off of the town in which Symmetra's Stone by Stone short story took place, as not only do we see the same Indian architecture, but also we straight up see the statue of Aurora, which was of course an important plot point in Stone by Stone. Just like New York, I don't think Blizzard actually specified which specific map game mode either of these maps is going to end up being, but it is awesome that Blizzard gave us a much more in-depth look at these locations, as they really help to emphasize the sort of feel and content we can expect to be getting when Overwatch 2 does finally release. Now, moving on to new heroes. Sadly, Blizzard didn't actually end up announcing any new heroes we hadn't previously heard of. They just talked a bit more about Sojourn specifically, who of course was announced and officially confirmed to be an Overwatch 2 hero at last year's BlizzCon, but this time we actually got a more in-depth look at her as a hero, including in-game gameplay of her. And based on the footage we see of her, she appears to have some sort of assault rifle as her primary weapon, in addition to a railgun, which is either her alternate fire or maybe maybe one of her abilities, but overall it does look very cool. Unfortunately, we didn't get a look at her ultimate or many of her other sort of utility abilities, whatever those end up being for her, but it is nice to finally get a closer look at Sojourn since she's going to be a very important character in the story, it sounds like, and of course she's a character a lot of people have been excited for ever since she was shown off way even before BlizzCon 2019, so it's nice that we finally got a bit more information about her. But speaking of heroes, we also got some new looks at hero redesigns, or new designs, I guess whatever you'd want to call them, specifically for McCree, Pharah, Reaper, and Widowmaker. Now, these hero designs I think look fantastic across the board. In particular, I think I like Reaper's the best. Something about the change from the white to the shiny metal gray color I think looks really cool on him. And overall, I think these characters all look fantastic with their new skins. You can definitely see the higher level of detail that has been put into these outfits, and it does seem like Blizzard is just really upping the ante when it comes to the amount of effort they're putting into the little aspects of even just individual skins. They also talked about how animation has been upped when it comes to the minute details of animating a character's face and their hair and whatnot. So yeah, all around it seems like there's just going to be more detail across the board when it comes to heroes, as well as probably every aspect of Overwatch 2. Now, in addition to these four, we also got a sort of sneak peek look at Soldier 76's new hero look, which we can actually see here in the Overwatch talents menu. I'll be talking more about the talents, of course, in my follow-up video when I focus on the PvE, but I just wanted to include this here because we do get a look at what Soldier is evidently going to end up looking like as well. Also, in addition to this, we got a better look at Bastion's new Overwatch 2 design, which last year at BlizzCon 2019 we saw in concept art form, but now we can see the actual in-game model of it and what that's going to look like. Moving on from hero designs though, there was some very interesting announcements made regarding PvP in general when it comes to Overwatch 2. Perhaps one of the most interesting changes they alluded to is new role passives, which are basically a passive ability or mechanic that applies to every hero in a specific role. So what they specifically mentioned their sort of working passives are: tank heroes have reduced knockback and grant less ultimate charge when they're being shot at, damage heroes have a movement speed bonus to help them better get around the map, and support heroes have an auto heal mechanic, which is apparently similar to Mercy's automatic healing ability, but to a lesser extent. So basically, the support heroes don't take damage for a while, and then they just automatically start to regenerate health. In addition to this, they mentioned that tank heroes specifically are going to be shifted in a bit of a different direction than where most of them lie right now. Specifically, they mentioned that heroes like Reinhardt, who currently are these sort of big barrier tanks, they want to focus on making them more like toe-to-toe brawlers. Specifically for Reinhardt, they mentioned that his charge can now be cancelled, and in addition to that is more easy to steer while charging, and also his Fire Strike has 2 charges, thus allowing him to dish out a bit more damage at longer range. Their overall philosophy here seems to be wanting to make tanks more aggressive and more threatening to the enemy, and also hopefully make them a bit more appealing to actually play, since many players don't really like just sort of standing there with a barrier. By making these tank heroes more brawl focused, they should end up being more engaging for the player. Now, one last topic I want to talk about in this video before I wrap up is also some changes coming to game modes in Overwatch 2. Of course, we know that Push is going to be a brand new game mode in the sequel, and Jeff alluded to there being even more new game modes, which they aren't ready to reveal just yet, but he also mentioned that there could be some substantial changes coming to existing game modes, such as Assault or 2CP. 2CP is by far the least popular game mode in the community, and a lot of players seem to just want the game mode to not exist. And Jeff sort of hinted that maybe it won't end up existing in Overwatch 2, but it seemed more likely to me that he meant there'd just be bigger changes to it. Possibly they're going to rework how the 2CP system works, maybe even to the degree that they end up altering the maps on which 2CP is played. They didn't give us too much details about that specifically, but it does sound like they're willing to make some radical changes with Overwatch 2 when it comes to fixing game modes that people don't particularly like, while also opening up new possibilities for new game modes that potentially would introduce some more variety in how you can actually play the game. So that'll wrap up this video covering the major content announcements made for Overwatch 2. Again, I'll be publishing a video after this one focusing specifically on everything they had to say about PvE and the hero missions and talent systems. There was a ton of information they talked about regarding that, so that video is probably going to be even longer than this one, so I want to get working on it right away. And it's also possible that some other sort of auxiliary information might end up coming out surrounding BlizzCon. I know there are some other interviews that were happening sort of off the official streams, so there could be a ton more information for us to learn, and I could very easily end up making more than just these 2 videos, so be sure to stay tuned to my channel for all content relating to Overwatch 2 at BlizzConline. And if you did enjoy this video, then be sure to subscribe, follow me on Twitter, hit up that bell icon, and come join me on Discord to hang out and never miss any of my future Overwatch content. If you'd like to support my channel and the videos I produce, then you can also become a YouTube channel member by hitting that join button down below, which will get you some cool rewards like your name at the end of my videos. So if you're willing to throw just $1 or $2 my way, then I massively appreciate that. But otherwise, thanks again so much for watching. This is Master Ian Gamer signing off, and until next time, have a great day.